Hi everyone, it's Rio Cloudsick. In today's session, we're going to be looking at administrative units within Microsoft Entra ID. First off, you're going to need the applicable role-based access control, either being a global administrator or a privileged role administrator would suffice. We then want to access the Microsoft Entra Admin Center by navigating to entra.microsoft.com, in which it will present you the Entra dashboard. On the left-hand service pane, where we see identity, we want to select, and we want to scroll down to roles and admins, and we should have an option for administrative units. This will take us to our administrative unit service console, in which we can either create, manage, or delete existing admin units. Albeit I've got 0 admin units within my given Microsoft organizational tenant, we're going to go ahead and create a new admin unit. But before we do so, let's first understand what an admin unit is. Well, 1, it could be a container for our Entra resources, and 2, it can restrict permissions in a given role to a portion of our user directory. Let me give you an example. One may be we're delegating a help desk administrator role to a regional support specialist so they can only manage given users within their provided region, for example. So if I was to go ahead and add an admin unit, it will ask me to provide it a given name. I'm going to call this admin unit V1 because I'm very imaginative. And there's also an option for a description, albeit it not being mandated. For simplicity reasons, you may want to give it the description, especially when you've got multiple admins managing multiple administrative units. There is an option for restricted management administrative units. This is currently in public preview, and this is really to be able to protect those specific objects in your tenant from modification by anyone other than the designated admin within the given administrative unit. By default, this is set to no, but we can set this to on. And this can only be toggled to on or to off upon creation. If I was to press next to assign roles, we then have the option to assign those administrative roles to that designated admin for the administrative unit. However, I'm going to leave this as null for the time being, and we're going to revert back to this page shortly. So if I press review and create, it will give me a summary of what I've configured thus far, and I can select create. This will now tell me I've created my administrative unit, in which it will provide me the given name, which is admin unit V1. It will tell me restricted management is set to no, which was that toggle earlier, and the membership type is static, assigned, in which we can create it a dynamic, which we need to create post for both user and device. So if I was to select admin unit and select properties, we can actually change the display name for the given admin unit. We can give it that description post creation. We can also change that membership type from static to dynamic for user and dynamic for device, wherein which we can create a dynamic membership rule and pull those users and devices automatically or dynamically rather than having to statically assign it on a one-to-one mapping basis. There is also an object ID here, which is the unique identifier for this particular administrative unit. And as I said, you've got the option for restricted management administrative unit, but this is grayed out because you need to toggle this upon creation rather than post creation. We then have the option for users, where we start defining those users within the given administrative unit. So I can press add member. It will list me my Entra ID user directory, in which I can start adding users to this particular administrative unit. So I may want to add Adam Young and maybe Benjamin Alexander to this given admin unit. I then press save. I want to click refresh, and these users in a minute or so should appear in my user pane. I may give it a refresh quickly. There we go. The 2 users are now appearing, Adam Young and Benjamin Alexander. Okay. What we've also got is groups, where we can add M365 security groups to the given admin unit. One thing you do need to know, applying a group brings the group into management and not the users. So we can administer the configuration of said group, but not actually the users which reside within the given group. And it's also worth noting that we can't nest existing admin units in new admin units. That's not possible. We then have the options for devices, where we can bring those devices into management amongst this admin unit, where we can either wipe, delete, and manage given devices. And then we have the option for the roles and administrators, where, okay, we've got 2 users in our given admin unit, one Adam Young, 2 Benjamin Alexander. It may be that Adam Young is going to be the designated admin for this admin unit, and he's going to manage Ben's passwords, for example. So I'm going to assign him the help desk administrator role, Adam, and then what that will do in essence is give him the ability to reset Ben's passwords and only Ben's passwords, no one outside of this given admin unit. So if I was to select roles and I was to scroll down, I've either got password admin, if I just want him to reset passwords, or I can also give him user or help desk admin. For simplicity, I'm going to give him password administrator. So if I select password administrator, it will then ask me, okay, do I want to make this an eligible assignment, an active assignment, and I can also see the expired assignment. So you can start to see where that integration with Entra ID governance comes into play. One thing to note is if you do have restricted management mode enabled, you can't use any of the Entra ID governance capabilities such as privileged identity management. So if I was to select assign user accounts, you can see I'm selecting the role password administrator. The resource type is directory, and the selected scope. And this is where this is what we really need to highlight here is the admin unit V1. He can't reset passwords outside of this admin unit. So if I select members, we then can select Adam Young and press select and press next. And we've got the option here to select eligible or active. Like I said, this has that native integration with privileged identity management for just-in-time access. So trying to adopt the zero trust methodology. If I was to press active, I can press permanently assign, and I've got some settings here where I need to enter a justification. I'm just going to put NA for the time being and press assign. So what we've done in essence is assign the password administrator role to Adam Young. With the scope of this admin unit and this admin unit only, so you can only reset the passwords for Benjamin Alexander. So if I was to go into Adam Young and select assign roles, I can see now he's got the password administrator role, and the scope of the role is in brackets administrative units and the admin unit V1 we created earlier, and this is a permanent assignment. This is not a assignment where it's going to expire in due course. But yeah, that's administrative units. I think the key highlight here was the public preview for a restricted management administrative unit, and some of the limitations around that when creating the given admin units, i.e. you can't use the governance integration if that is enabled. Any questions you may have, please let me know. I'm always here to support, and thank you very much.